It's 3 o'clock, so let's get started. Now, the carrots I'm going to use are this Thanks a Bunch stamp set. It is from the Sale-a-bration catalog. And I'm really excited that Sale-a-bration and the new catalog are now live. Started on Thursday. The mini catalog will run through April. And there's all kinds of nice, wonderful new stamps for the spring, your spring stamping. And when you spend $50 in product, for every $50 in product that you spend, you can order from the Sale-a-bration catalog, a brochure. And so one of the things you can get is this adorable owls. And you can get for free. These are for free. For $50, you can get this Thank a Bunch. And I would not normally choose carrots for stamping, but there's some great sayings on this set. So this is on page 5 of the Sale-a-bration brochure. So let me show you. Again, this is the stamp set. It says, "Look at you. There's no one quite like you. Love you. Thanks. Hey there." A bunch, so you could put thanks a bunch. Everything's coming up carrots. Wonder what you can do with that. It looks like spring, and look at you. Then there's some various things for carrots. Now, I don't know what made them, what inspired them to make carrots, but that's what we have, is a carrot stamp set. It is photopolymer, which I love. I think it's just photopolymer. But one of the cool things about this spring is that some of the stamp sets are in either cling or photopolymer. Okay, let me see here. Go back to the beginning. So this is only photopolymer. It's a 2-step stamp set. So you can stamp this image, and then you stamp this over the top of it, and that gives you more detail. You can stamp this, and this adds detail to your image there. So let me show you what we're going to make. The first card we're going to make is this one. And it is a pocket card. So it says, "Everything's coming up," and you pull it up, carrots. Everything is coming up carrots. I thought it was kind of fun. And it just slides down in there, so you just see the green things. And then on the front it says, "It looks like spring." And this is a top fold. I start with 11 by 4 1/4 cardstock, or you could have 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 scored in the middle to make your card base. So we have that. Then we have a couple pieces of copy paper, because we're going to be doing some stamping and we need to mask. Then I have 2 pieces of soft suede. They both are 4 inches. One of them is by 3 inches, and the other is 2 inches. And then we have the insert, Balmy Blue, and it is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I have a label out of basic white that says, "It looks like spring." And I'm using pumpkin pie and garden green inks for that. Okay, so first we're going to do is we're going to make the pocket. And the copy paper, because we're going to be stamping on this card. That's actually the first thing we need to do, is to stamp on the card and on here. Okay, so I'm going to put the copy paper on the back. This is the mask, and I'm going to make the soft suede look kind of like a garden soil. It would not be perfectly straight, so I'm kind of cutting it kind of a wavy pattern, just kind of free-handing it like that. Now we have a mask to match that. And I'm going to put that mask here because this is going to overlap like that. And we're going to stamp the carrot tops using the garden green. And while I was making this card, I discovered the reason to use the very small acrylic block is so that you don't get ink on the edges of your stamp block. Okay, then I'm just going to stamp like that to put a row of carrots across here. Now, if I were to, I'll show you what would happen if I had used this. I'm going to turn it over so that it doesn't show. And if I did it like this is the reverse side, so it's not going to matter. And if I were to stamp it like this, across there, there would be, oh, I didn't do a very good job, but there would be a gap, or could be a gap, because of the thickness of the card stock. So that's why I've used the copy paper. Okay, so I'm going to put this down with snail adhesive, or not snail, seal, stamp and seal. 21 years of selling snail, and it's hard to change our terminology. Okay, so there we have our nice, wonderful row of carrot tops. Now, for the back, to put it on, so make sure that it sticks well, I'm going to use tear and tape. Okay, there we go. This is going to make the pocket. Like that. And this card needs to fit so that it slides easily, but not too much. Like that, in there. Okay, now we need to cut an edge along the top here. So I've got the other piece of copy paper. Should have done this before I put the tear and tape on, but oh well. Just kind of make it like it's uneven ground, like that. Okay, so we can't put this card right down. Can't put it right down at the very bottom because we've got this tear and tape here. So we're going to position it like that. And I'm going to put let's do it this way. Position this. Like that. Let's see if I got that about right. Because I want this card to only go down as far as, and this is the way I should be doing it. Okay. So now we're going to stamp some more foliage across the top. Like so. And then we can remove the mask, and we're going to stamp the carrots. See, I told you I was going to be using carrots, just not the fact that it was a stamp. So I'm going to stamp this little bunch of carrots. Like that. Oh, kind of got a little bit low on that one. The thing about photopolymer that I really like is, if you're careful, you can line it up really well. If you're not so careful, you end up with something like that. Oh well. Now I want to have the word carrots. We've got to stamp our greeting. And the greeting here is, everything's coming up carrots. Little thing that happened last night, you notice that the carrots part is orange. I grabbed a marker, I colored it in, I huffed on it, and I stamped, and nothing happened. And I'm like, what? Huffed on it again, still nothing happened. And then I looked at my marker, and I was using a Stamp and Blend with the alcohol ink, and it stained the stamp. But no problem. But I'm going to be using Everything's Coming Up, and I think I'm going to, instead of using red, I'm going to use, orange, I'm going to use the green because it shows up better. And I only want to stamp at the top the Everything's Coming Up. So I'm using the marker to color just those words. That looks pretty good. I'm going to stamp that right there. Pretty good. It'll have to do. Okay, and then I'm going to put the carrots down below. First I have to clean off the stamp because I don't want the words to come up there. So I'll get my chamois. This chamois is designed so that you can fit it in a stamp set, a stamp box, a blank stamp box, but I don't. They have a lid that you have to open and shut all the time. Okay, let's see if that's clean now. Good, okay. So I just put it in a tray and keep it nice in a paper bag, plastic bag. Okay, now we'll color the carrots part. Making sure to get the top of that T. I'm going to stamp that down here. There. So everything's coming up. Carrots. I think I'll try to enhance the P a little bit. Yeah, that makes it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to have a way to pull it out. And I have, this is the Label Me Fancy punch, and it has, besides the label, it has a hole punch and it has a slot punch. And I'm going to use the hole punch to put a hole in here. Approximately in the center. There we go. And I have a little bit of baker's twine that is early evergreen. It is probably from a paper pumpkin kit. It was just laying around and I decided that that was the best color for it. And I want to make the tie look like, kind of like to mimic the carrot top with a little more on the strands. So I'm going to double it. This is kind of a fussy part for me. There we go. And I've made it extra long because I discovered that tying the knot needs to have a pretty good circle to get all the ends in. There we go. Just kind of work that down. Okay, I didn't get worked down as far as I wanted, but that's okay. Then I'll trim off the excess here. Okay, so we've got that ready. Now let's put the card together. We've got this part ready. And we've got tear and tape on the back. Like that. Put that down and slide your card into the pocket. And there you have it. So on the inside, it's blank for you to write your greeting. Or a note. It could be just use this just as a note card of some sort. And if you wanted to, I've got those stamped a little bit high, so I could trim off the end the bottom edge of the card just a little bit more. I'll do that. Be right back. I took off about 1/8 of an inch when you slide it down, and now all you see are the tops of greenery. So at any rate, on the inside, you could write a message of some sort. I haven't quite figured out what I would say to go along with everything. Oh, no, we're not quite done. We have to do the "It looks like spring." And I started the label using the Deco label dies, but it's much longer than what I really want, so I'm going to show you how to shorten it. I love this mini Stampin' and Cut and Emboss machine because it doesn't take up much space. The sides pop up like this, and you can cut almost everything out with this except for the largest dies. The diameter here is a little over 3.5 inches, so pretty much all kinds of different things can be done. So I've cut this out, and it's off uneven like that on purpose. Oh, the other thing about this Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is that if you sign up to be a demonstrator during Sale-a-bration, you can order one that is a boho blue color. It's a special Sale-a-bration edition with a lovely blue color to it. The starter kit is $99, and you get $175 worth of product when you place your order in your kit. But for $129, you can get that $175 plus you get the boho blue mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, the mini Cut and Emboss, and have a beautiful blue color to enhance your stamp room or your stamping space. So you see how I placed it over that, and now it cuts off that end like that. And you can change the size of quite a few of these dies by doing that procedure. Using a piece of washi tape helps to hold the die in place. With these decal dies, it's particularly easy because if you don't get them lined up quite right, it's not going to look like a mistake. There we go. And that's going to go on the front. And you could pop it up with Stampin' Dimensionals to make it a little fancier. Since I mail most mine, I don't use the dimensionals so that it doesn't take so much postage. So there's the completed card. On the back, sign it because you are the artist. So that's the first card. Now the second card is just a card like this, and I wanted to use the carrots as a design. And this is the one where you can see I accidentally got the edges of the card, the edges of the block inked up. For this card, you use a card base that's 8.5 by 5.5 and folded and scored at 4 1/4. It's a top fold. This is garden green. It is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I have run through it with the stitched greenery die to give it some detail on the background. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. some Stamp and Seal. And somebody on one of my demonstrator things pointed out to me that you have to use a really light touch with that. I usually really was pressing down on it to get it to stick. And like she pointed out, a light touch makes it so much easier. Okay, so there's that. And oh yeah, this is for the stamp. Thanks a bunch. And we'll stamp that with Garden Green. And I have it on this large block, and what I did was I put the two things down and then checked with my grid paper to make sure that they were parallel and straight. And they have been. If you haven't been using grid paper, I recommend you get it. You can get the smaller amounts, a 6x6 size that you can use in the Stamp-a-ratus, or you can get a big sheet like this. I buy one and use it until it's almost full before I get a different one. Get a fresh sheet. They last quite a while. Okay, thanks a bunch. And we'll cut that out. This is very vanilla cardstock. And we'll cut it out just like we did the other one. I'm going to put one end like I want it, because I don't want it to go clear across the card top. And then put the plate on top. Take it out. And then put it on again. To cut off the other end. And as you slide it back and forth, you can feel when you've gutted the previous cut edges, when you've got them in the die. I'm going to put the end I'm cutting in first, because you really don't need to run it all the way through. Just far enough to give that first edge. And that helps to prevent you from cutting if you don't have it perfectly lined up. And there we have. See, I got a little bit of it there. But especially with the decal edge die, it doesn't make much difference. Okay, so that's going to go up here at the top. We'll set it aside for now. And that is what I was going to stamp on. I just used a piece that I was going to stamp on for this. Okay, so this is, I'll have to go cut another piece. It's 1.5 by 5 1/4. I'll be right back. Okay. And we're going to use the same carrots and the same bunch at the top. But I discovered, after I made the other card, I discovered that there's actually 3 carrots in the bunch. And on the other card, I only stamped 1 top. So this time I'm going to stamp 1, going to do 3, and try to be very careful not to get the edges. Okay, and I see I've got a little bit on there, so I'm going to wipe off the ink. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp the carrots so that my spacing works out even. Good. So now I'll stamp the carrots for that bunch. Okay, next green for this one. One, 2, 3, and the carrots. Oop. Thing about the photopolymer is you can kind of re-stamp it if you miss. Now I'm running into a little bit of a risk because I'm reaching over the orange, and I don't want to get orange ink on my sleeve, so I'm going to move that one back a ways. And I thought this kind of made a nice little border. Of carrots. The fronds in particular could be added to, let's see, I got some there, could be added to the other greenery. For the most part, I have used larger die acrylic blocks and not worried about using the small ones for these little tiny stamps. But this time I realize the advantage of having the correct size block, because you don't have to worry so much about getting edges inked of the block. Okay, I think there's room for about one more bunch. There we go. Okay, so we'll take our label. Oh, first off, we'll put this on the card. so. Now we'll take our label, and I thought that this window pane ribbon, it is evening evergreen color, but it goes pretty well, I think, with the garden green. And I like the plaid, or the window pane design. So to put this on, I'm going to put a couple strips of seal right on the back. And this will hold the ribbon the way I want. So I'm going to place it like so and press that down into the thing. Now that's not laying very flat, so I'm going to get a glue dot. Use my take your pick. And stick that down under there to help it lay flat. There. That way that'll help it be a little firmer there. And I am going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for this. Straighten you up a little bit. There you have it. Now for the inside, you could say, "There's no one quite like you," or "Love you, thanks a bunch, love you," or you could handwrite a greeting on the inside. So there you have 2 cards using the Thanks a Bunch free Stampin' set from Sale-a-bration. So I've got just a few more minutes. If you would like, I'll kind of do a brief review of the catalogs and the mini catalogs, so you can have a chance to see more of what is in there. I'll show you my favorites. Some room here. And I have a few favorites. So one of my first choices was this Country Bouquet Bundle. The Designer Series papers. There's 2 of them. One is the Country Gingham, and it's all gingham checks, things like that. I did not get that one, but I did get the Country Floral Lane. And what's very cool about it is that the punch that goes with the bundle will punch out these hearts and the flowers. So that's one reason why I got that. And there are adhesive back sequins that go with it, and some ribbon, real red and burlap ribbon. So you have everything you need to coordinate with that. And the stamp set, and this is one reason why I got it, because I love the shape of the heart, for one thing. And I love this 2-step stamp. Put your greenery in, stamp that with green, and then you can stamp that with pink, and you have a beautiful floral heart with that. I love that we are friends. I think that's a great one to send to your friends at any time of the year. I just wanted to say Happy Valentine's Day, or I love you, with love. So this is my Valentine's one I chose. So much love for you. Then there's one with desserts and things. And what's really cool about this one is that there is a die to make an ice cream cone. Isn't that cool? It folds and makes a cone. This cute kitty cat one, head over heels about you. I love hanging out with you. Hi there, Valentine. Love cats. That's a darling one too. They have so many that are really cool in here. This one has a wonderful whole die. Can't be used with the mini stamp and cut and emboss. You have to have the big one for that. And then it's got flowers to cut out the stamp set. It also has a wonderful set of dies for labels. Oh, and the designer series paper is gorgeous. At any rate, these labels have some really wonderful greetings in it. This one says, I didn't forget your birthday. I'm just stretching out the celebration. And that is perfect for me because I get the cards made, but I don't get them mailed in time. So this is a great one. I probably will end up getting it. I've got a question mark there. For the dies, for the greetings. And this lantern one is calling to me to, we don't have out here in the Pacific Northwest, we don't have lightning bugs, but I grew up with them, and they fascinate me. And so there's lightning bugs. This lantern is a die, so you can cut out the thing. The whole thing is just really, it just calls to me. Thanks for lighting the way. Follow your dreams. You are all kinds of wonderful. I'm not quite sure how I would use the sayings, but I do love the ingredients. So I'll go a few more pages. We have another one of the emboss and the dies and an embossing bundle, I believe, that will emboss with that. Nice seashore one. Beautiful designer series paper for that. Another bird nest one, which is really, it's a very pretty, very nice, high detail one. And the bird is a really nice bird. 2 dies for it. And then a rather elaborate honeybee. This is more vintage. And then there's this one. This one was my first choice. I did a swap with it because sending a big honkin' thanks. I just love the play of words on it. I'm here for you. Goosebumps. Sending gaggle of good wishes. A silly goose told me it's your birthday, and this silly goose forgot. And I made a card, not for a swap. This was a swap card I made, used for a swap. But I made a card that says, and a computer generated, you give me, and then stamped goosebumps under it. Let me see if I can find that card. Here it is. And I used one of the oval frames, the one with the hearts. So you give me goosebumps. I love it. Turtles and a couple of background stamps. And this set, I debated about, but ended up getting it. The designer series paper is a 6x6, and it's beautiful, very floral. Don't really need more floral papers. The ribbon is really nice. It is okay. It was on my stamp table. Anyway, it is. Oh, no. Well, momentarily, I cannot find it. This is a spur of the moment going through the catalog, so I apologize. Also has some textured shimmer paper, and this die set has some couple of wonderful labels and ones that can be inset into it. So I ended up getting it. I have not gotten this yet, but I may. Let me show you on the next page. Because this is a background stamp. Can you see it? Probably not. This is the background stamp. If I run out of video. Anyway, this is a background stamp, and then you can put your flowers on top of it. And this gives you an idea of what the die looks like. So I got that. This desert one. This paper is stunning, absolutely stunning. There's that color. Isn't that gorgeous? And here's the blue. Thanks, Diane. Something in my iPad's not following any longer for some reason. So I'm not seeing your comments too much. At any rate, so there's those. Oh, this is another set I got. It's called Playing in the Rain. Very appropriate for out here. The embossing folder has raindrops, and it has dies to cut out these wonderful, sweet little guys, and a beautiful designer series paper. This paper actually has, the raindrops have a little bit of shimmer to them, and the flowers have a little bit of shimmer, or the clouds. It's really pretty. And I just couldn't help. They're so cheerful, those animals. I ended up getting them. So, and then there's this stamp set. The Dainty Delight. And if you order this stamp set, you will want to get out of the Sale-a-bration catalog this beautiful, beautiful Dainty Flowers Designer Series paper. Only $50 purchase. A $50 purchase can get you this beautiful designer series paper. I've used it several times, and I've gotten, each time I order, I end up getting that. This is a new alphabet, a skinny one. Some outdoor things, some man type things. This is the Where the Hearts die is, framed florets. It was carried forward into this catalog. And one of the things that is kind of cool, I don't know about you, but the blending brushes really make a nice background. And so there's the large ones. And they have now come up with some smaller ones, so if you have a tighter space that you want to do, there you can buy the smaller ones, and they have a blending brush storage, so you can just stand them in there, a plastic storage thing, which is really kind of a cool idea. I've just got mine into a cup-like thing. And here's some carry forwards from previous catalog. The punch, and I believe the stamp set that goes with the punch. And there's the tree one has been carried forward, and the embossing rings. So those are some of the carry forwards. Anyway, that was kind of a quick review through there. Sale-a-bration, I'll go through quickly. The adorable owls, and the Thanks a Bunch, which I just demonstrated. And this is the designer series paper I was talking about. And there is in this catalog, there is a On the Farm on page 34. is this stamp set, a bundle. And it's so nice when you can get for free the corresponding designer series paper. And then that's for $50. And for $50, there's the Sending Support stamp set with a variety of different things, with multi-font sayings in it. And then there's this beautiful Favored Flowers designer series paper, and it coordinates with the Fragrant Flowers on page 21 in the main catalog. This one, Fragrant Flowers. So if you buy this bundle, and it is $48.50, so this bundle plus, say, adhesive or something like that, you could then get the coordinating paper to go with it. There's an In the Country fine line design stamp, and there is Beautifully Happy stamp set for $100. It's a little more detailed stamp set. And then for $100, you can get this Dandy Designs 12 by 12 paper. There are 48 sheets, 4 each of 12 double-sided designs, a wide variety of pastels and patterns and stuff like that. You will not run out of paper. And for a $100 purchase of product that you're already going to get, you can get this stack. And it's thick. It's a good half-inch thick stack of designer series paper. Very win-win. SoggyStamper.com, and this video will be up on YouTube on my channel, The Soggy Stamper, this afternoon. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you again next Friday afternoon at 3, dogs permitting. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.